Hey guys, it's Allison and I am bringing you day 18 of LOAD218, and today one of the adventures is to use triangles on your layout. So I was initially thinking that I would cut a bunch of triangles and sort of lay them out quilt-like, and then I found this paper and it's got a whole lot of triangles on it already. This is from the Crepe Paper Kiss Kiss line, so it's a couple years old, a Valentine's Day line. And it goes perfectly with this paper, which is Fancy Pants, I Heart You, from Burlap and Bouquets, so that's like super old. Oh, 2014. Which matches her dress perfectly. So I'm going to create a frame using this paper, but to say that this is my triangle element, I think is a little bit of a cop-out. So my plan, let's cross our fingers and hope it works, is to take some of my scraps. So this is just from that same bin that I've been working from. These are where all the papers that have been going in this album live, and actually cut some triangles to fit, which is going to be quite finicky. And I'm not going to fill them all. And in fact, I kind of want to fill sort of maybe a triangular space, or maybe I can fill like a photo mat. I haven't quite decided how that's going to work. So yeah, I am going to get started and see what happens. So wish me luck. Alright, so the first thing I gotta do is get my background ready. So I cut the branding strip off that deep salmony colored 12 by 12, and then the other one I trimmed down to 11.5 by 11.5, and that will give me a nice 1/4 inch border all the way around. And then I turn my attention to the triangles and how I'm going to get the correct size of triangles and shape, I guess, too. And I had some tracing paper in my desk from my school days. That would be, you know, post-secondary school days, I suppose. So I traced one of the triangles and cut it out, and I don't know why I traced the triangle in the middle of the tracing paper. That's a little wasteful, but whatever. So then I just used that to trace the triangles onto the different patterns that I have chosen. And I'm being very careful to cut on the inside of that pencil line, because I know that that way the triangles will fit perfectly on my paper. And I've pulled out I think 4 or 5 different patterns to work with, and I decide in the end that that constellation pattern there, the sort of purpley one with the pink branding strip, that's just to on the left of your screen, the colors are really not working well with the pinks and peaches that are going on in both the photo and the background papers that I've chosen. So I end up not using that one at all. And then this black one, I was really only interested in the bits that had flowers on them. So I'm being very careful when I'm tracing my triangles to only include bits with the flowers. And then I've got a plaid bit of paper that has the sort of, it's more orange, I suppose, but it works quite well with that salmon color, and some navy in it. And then a sheet from Glitter Girls Little by Little that has a lot of different blues on it, and I'm using one of the light blue squares. So then I really want a mat of some sort behind my photos. And the perfect mat would be that salmon background, but then I can't have it as my background, or can I? So that's the trick that I have learned, is to cut out the center of your most back piece, and then when you glue on the top bit, you just make sure you glue it down on all 4 sides, and your layout is just as strong as it would be otherwise, but you have this piece of coordinating paper that you can use to mat. So I put the mat down and placed my photos roughly where I thought they would go, and then I just traced along the bottom line, just lightly with pencil, and that gave me an idea of where I could start putting these triangles. I very quickly realized as I was cutting them out that in order to cut out enough to fill the page, I would be doing this all day. So I abandoned the idea of filling it completely and have decided to go for a fairly random look, which is darn hard to do. Planned randomness is tricky. So I've decided to just have them sort of below the photo and then up on the right hand side just a little bit, not a ton. So I'm trying to space out my colors and have, not have two blues together kind of a thing. And then I'm flipping some of the triangles to point downwards as well. Just going for maximum interest and texture, I suppose. Visual texture, that is. So once I get it to a point that I am mostly happy with it, I can pull that photo mat back in and my photos and get that stuck down. And I will erase my pencil line here. Being quite careful, but not careful enough. I do bend the corner there. And get my my photo stuck down. Now my mat is not big enough to contain the photos completely, and I knew that. If I'd wanted to cut something that was big enough, it would have made the layout a little bit more flimsy than I was really prepared to have. So I'm okay with it not going the full width and having my photos sort of hang off the edge. I think that is actually quite a nice look. So once those are in place, I can finish putting in all my little triangles and find some letter stickers for the title. And I actually turned the camera off there for a bit because I wanted to go and look up one of the passwords that they used. And this portrait of the fat lady is from book 1, before they changed actors. And so I went and looked up the password from book 1, and then I was thinking about it and realized that the password changes every year, and then there was this one year where it changed practically every day. So I thought a better title would be, What's the Password? But I don't have a question mark on either of these letter sticker sheets, which bothers me for a little bit, and then I decide to just let it go. And it'll be fine. It'll be just fine. When I was pulling things out of my stash, I found this sticker sheet that had just a few little triangles left from like a big border sticker. So they're a little bit smaller than the ones that I have cut myself, but the colors work. So I decided to add them in. I might as well get them used up and onto a layout rather than have them sit in my stash, right? But it does make me think that I need a little bit something up in the top left, sorry. I mean, heaven forbid that I make a layout without an embellishment cluster in the top left. Goodness, I really need to, I need to address that. Anyways, so I had run out of all but the dark teal square triangles, so I have to cut a few more and get those placed up there. And that's the plaid paper that I was using. You can get a better look at it there. On that same sticker sheet was this label that I thought I could use for some journaling. So I cut it in two so I can have it underneath the photo and then up in that left-hand corner. And once it's placed down, I really want to have just one more triangle over top of it. So I cut out another one out of the black paper and I pop it up for some interest. And once it is down on the page and it's popped up and I really quite like the look, I realize that it might be nice to have some of the triangles down below also on pop tops. Not all of them, just a few. So I sort of pick, I think, 3 at random and carefully take them off the page, pop them up and put them right back on again. And now it is time to get my journaling in. So down here I'm just talking about how many times the password changes. and then I write a little note off the label as kind of a joke, I suppose, and it just says, "Wonder how I would do." And then up at the top, I'm just talking about all the different portraits and the moving staircases and that sort of thing, and what a fun school it would be if we went to school there. And I'm just looking for a few extra things. I've got the Little by Little sticker book, and there are 3 sentiment stickers in there that I am going to add. And I decide to add pop dots to them. They're not, again, they're not super sticky, so either I'm adding my tape runner to them or I'm putting them up on pop dots, but I need to add some sort of extra adhesive regardless. And then the one that I'm putting up at the top, I actually end up putting on top of the triangle. So one end of the sticker just has a little bit of tape runner to help it stick to that triangle. And then the other end is on pop dots. So it's a nice layered look up there. And so now it's just the little bits that I'm adding. So I had the puffy hearts from Go Now Go that I used a few layouts ago, and I've added 3 sort of dark teal patterned ones, and then some wood buttons. I think there was a couple from Go Now Go and one from Glitter Girl. And then I'm adding little pink puffy cameras. Those are from Little by Little. And then finally, the big dark blue sparkly enamel dots. And the cluster arrangement up at the top left there gives me some trouble. The button, the enamel dot, and the camera just, it took me a little while to get an arrangement of them that I liked, but I eventually do, and I'm happy with it. And then the last thing that I need to add is some gold mist. I haven't been adding it to every single layout, but I think this is a layout that can take it. It's a bit more formal, I suppose, especially with that portrait. I find she's kind of a formal lady. Alright, so here's some close-ups of the finished layout, and then that's a good one. You can see all the gold mist there. And oh, the little birdie in the wood button is sort of a nod to the little birdie told me. That's how you know what the password is. So that is my triangle layout. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye.